Hello students and welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Shefali Nagpal, Associate Professor at Human Resource Development Center, Bhagat Phool Singh Mahila Vishwavidyalaya, Sonipat. We are studying the paper Development of the Management Thoughts, Principles and Types under Human Resource Management. Today we will discuss leadership. After the completion of this module, you would be able to understand the concept of leadership, understand the difference between the leadership and management, understand the process of the leadership and describe leadership managerial roles and get acquainted with leadership philosophies. Leadership is a very important function of management. Whenever we talk about the functions of management, instantly we think about planning, organizing, directing and controlling. Directing functions include leading, communicating, motivating, supporting, coaching, mentoring, etc. Therefore, leading is one of the important functions of every manager because each functional area manager deals with the people first. But do all managers are good leaders? Or do all leaders are good managers? There may be many managers who are not good leaders, but there may be the persons who are not good managers, but they are effective leaders. So anybody can be a leader or can possess leadership traits or skills. Therefore, it is apt to say that leadership in general has nothing to do with the managerial title. It is the case of the religious leader, political leaders, union leaders, student leaders. But here, our concern is to discuss about the corporate leaders. As in the corporate arena, managers need to lead people. Therefore, it is essential for the managers to have leadership skills or to learn or train themselves to become effective leader too. John Kotter, a very famous author who has extensively researched and written about the change management, is the view that both management and strong leadership are necessary for optimum organizational effectiveness. But unfortunately, most organizations are underled and overmanaged. Kotler's statement emphasized the irony of the present time and strongly focused on the dire need of the good leaders in all spheres, especially the corporate world. Let us discuss the meaning and the definition of the leadership now. According to the Stockdale, in 1974, there are almost as many definitions of the leadership as the persons who have attempted to define the concept. According to the Tenenbaum, in 1961, it is defined as leadership is the interpersonal influence exercised in the situation and directed through communication process towards the attainment of the specified goals or the goals. According to George R. Terry, leadership is essentially a continuous process of influencing behavior. A leader breathes life into the group and motivates it towards goal. The lukewarm desires for the achievement and transformed into the burning passion for accomplishment. According to Bernard Keyes and Thomas Case, leadership is a process of influencing and supporting others to work enthusiastically towards achieving the objectives. Now let us discuss the characteristics of leadership. Leadership is about best use of resources. Leadership is the development of a clear and the complete system of expectations in order to identify, evoke and use the strength of all resources in the organization, the most important of which is people. Leadership is about strong character. Leadership is the combination of the strategy and character. If you must be without one, be without the strategy. This is what the Norman has said. Leadership is about decision making. Be willing to take the decision. That is the most important quality in a good leader, as described by the General George. Leadership is about empowering followers. As we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others. This is what the Bill Gates said. Leadership instills hope and possibilities among the people. Leader is a dealer in hope. This is what the Napoleon has given. The job of the leader is to speak to the possibility. This is Benjamin Zender. Leadership exists with followers. The only definition of leader is someone who has followers. This is according to the Drucker Foundation. Managers have subordinate, leaders have follower. This is what Murray Johnson has said. Leadership is about following and fulfilling the vision. Leader shapes and share a vision which gives point to the work of others. This is what the Charles Handy stated in 1992. Leadership, according to the John, revolves around the vision, ideas, direction, and has more to do with the inspiring people as to the direction and the goals than with day-to-day implementation. A leader must be able to leverage more than its own capabilities. He must be capable of inspiring other people to do things without actually sitting on the top of them with a checklist. Leadership is the capacity to translate the vision into the reality. This is what the Warren G. Bennis has to say. Leadership is about articulating visions, embodying values, and creating the environment within which the things can be accomplished. This is what the Richards and Angel has said in 1986. Leadership is the creation of the vision about the desired future state which seeks to enmesh all the members of the organization in its net. This is what the Bryman has said. The first job of the leader is to define a vision for the organization. Leadership of the capacity to translate vision into reality is what Warren Bennis said, the president, University of Cincinnati, University of Maryland Symposium during the year 1988. The purpose of the leadership is to produce more leaders. The functions of the leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers. This is what the Ralph Nader has said. Leadership is about change. Leadership is the ability to step outside the culture, to start evolutionary changes, processes that are more adaptive. This is what the Sitchin has stated in 1992. Leadership is a purposeful relationship which occurs episodically among the participants who use their individual skills to influence, to advocate transforming change. This is what the Michael S. Keynes says in 2005. Leadership is an intangible quality. According to the Scott Adams, leadership is an intangible quality with no clear definition. That's probably a good thing, because if the people who were being led knew the definition, they would hunt down their leaders and kill them. Leaders are servant first. The Greenleaf in the year 1970 stated, the leaders are servant. The servant leader is the servant first. It begins with the natural feeling that one wants to serve first. Then conscious choice brings one to uprise to lead. Leadership is about inspiration. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. Leadership and learning are inseparable. Leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. This is what the John F. Kennedy has mentioned, and Harvey Firestone has mentioned that the growth and development of the people is the highest calling of leadership. Elements of leadership. In elements of leadership, the most important key elements are leader, followers, influencing processes, change, people, organizational objectives. Leader, followers. Leader is a visionary person who inspires people and followers to accomplish a common shared organizational objective. Followers are those who get influenced by the leader and make the leader vision their mission and put their best foot forward to achieve the goals set by their leader. Leaders and followers both influence each other and should influence each other. Effective followers, but in everywhere, whenever they are not in approval with their leader. Influencing process. The process whereby the leader communicates his ideas to the followers and they accept it, and subsequently leader motivate, inspires, supports and mentors the followers to implement their ideas. Change. As they say, change is only constant in this world. Every moment, every second, changes are happening in the world. Be it in people, it is in social system, political system, economic system and technological system. Internal and external environment of any organization keep on changing at dizzying rates. Today, products may become passe, tomorrow's due to the changes in the environment. Therefore, being visionaries, Leaders keep their followers on toes and influence them in accomplishing the organizational objectives, which is only possible through the change. Otherwise also, leaders resist status quo and keep on bringing the planned changes in the organization. People, as discussed above, leader and followers influence each other and work towards a common organizational goal through change. But this change is always possible with the help of people. Leaders and followers work untiringly to get the work done from the people in the organization so that they may achieve the organizational objectives effectively and efficiently. Organizational objectives. Leaders set a shared vision for the organization for which they work. They put the interest of the organization at the top and put their personal interest at the back seat. Leaders instill shared vision for the organization and influence followers and people to achieve in the disciplined manners by following moral and ethical principles. Let us discuss the traits of the leadership. But before discussing, let us make a distinction between the traits and the skill. Traits are inherent personality characteristic of an individual. Traits last long and are part of an individual, which are natural abilities and define an individual, and they are the personal inclination or interest. There is a controversy whether traits are innate or learned. There is a mixed opinion regarding this. But after doing the rigorous review of literature, we can conclude that traits are attributed to one's genes and also the early upbringing or habituation. This is both genetic factors. Early learning contribute towards the leadership trait, which are important characteristic of an individual personality, whereas skill are need-based, which an individual learns over the period of time to perform his or her job well. Skill acquisition and the development can be done with the training, experience and development sessions. That means it is far more manageable than traits. Skill can be learned and can be forgotten. Traits are difficult to change but not impossible. Many believe traits development and change is possible only in the extreme life-changing situations, which brings a change in the personality traits. According to the Robert Kass, 3 important skills which every manager must possess are human skills, technical skills and conceptual skills. Connection between the trait and skill. Trait makes skill development faster. For example, if somebody generally loves people, like to chat with them, understand them, then it is very easy for him or her to learn human skill rather than individual who is introvert by nature. According to the various authors, there are different classification of leadership traits, but some of the common traits of effective leader are confidence, visionary, sensitive, emphatic, hardworking, disciplined, ethical, adjustable, emotionally stable, optimistic, consciousness, open to experience, dominant, spiritual, philanthropist, serving attitude, innovative, progressive thinking, sociable or gregarious, and similarly many more. Leadership managerial roles. Before explaining different leadership roles, let us define the term role first. Role is a set of expectations of the key customers. Customer means to whom role holder is providing the services. Similarly, leader provides services to the followers, people, and to the entire organization. In that regard, he has expected set of behaviors from the different customers. Various authors have given the set of roles which leaders play. A very famous classification of 10-point roles which are classified under the head is given by the Henry Mintzberg, which we have already discussed in the another module. These are basically leadership managerial role as they are played by the leaders when he is in the managerial capacity. For a glance, they are also mentioned here: interpersonal role, informational role, decisional role. Under the interpersonal role, he plays the role of the figurehead, leader and liaison. Under the informational role, he is the monitor, disseminator and spokesperson. In the decisional role, a manager has to perform the leadership role as an entrepreneurial, disturbance handler, resource allocator and negotiator. Interpersonal roles. Interpersonal roles, which consist of figurehead, leader and liaison roles, are discussed as follows. Figurehead role. In figurehead role, the top level managers act as a representative or symbolic head on the various platforms, like legal, social, ceremonial. The various examples in this context are figured as following: being an official representative outside the organization, signing authority on the behalf of organization, presiding over ceremonial and social events like retirement party, fest, official events, foundation day, AGMs meeting, legal events, etc., and representing the organization in the court of law and other regulatory bodies. As a leader role, according to the Mintzberg, is carrying all the management functions, for example, hiring, training, performance evaluation, coaching, mentoring, and delegating. Under the liaison role, it includes meeting with the people, attending trade association meeting like FICCI, CII, SOCHM, NASSCOM, and other industry-specific associations at local, national, or international level. Under the informational role, it consists of monitoring, disseminator, and spokesperson, which are discussed as. Under the monitoring role, it includes those activities which help the manager to collect the information in order to make strong basis for taking various decisions. It is related to gathering the information from inside and outside the organization. A manager can use the various methods to collect information that can be through observation, magazines, journal, trade bulletins, newspaper, annual report, balance sheet, profit and loss account, safety reports, production reports, etc. As a disseminator, the second role under the informational role is of the disseminator. After collecting the information from the various sources, the next step is to pass on the relevant information to the employees and the stakeholders inside the organization. Various methods can be used to disseminate the information to the employees, for example, through the circular, notices, mail, notice notes, and meetings, etc. In the spokesperson's role, leaders pass on the information to the people outside the organization. For example, manager is working in one SBU, passes the information to the another SBU or the corporate officials such as directors, CEOs, CFOs, promoters, etc. on the same group. Further, providing information to the government officials or reporting to the government authorities. For example, compliance issues with the income tax department, sale tax department, Provident Fund Organization, Electricity Department, Town and Country Planning, Labor Department, bankers, also comes under the umbrella of the spokesperson role of the manager. Under the decisional role, which is the most crucial role that the manager plays, as it tests his intuitive, rational, creative, and sound analytical and judgmental abilities. It is further classified into 4 different roles discussed as follows. Entrepreneurial role. In this role, manager takes the decision regarding creating new product, service, and thinks of new processes and creating and searching new markets for their product and services. He also acts as a disturbance handler. He has to react to the unexpected events, for example, strikes, breakdown, shortage of the raw material, non-selling of the products, controversies related to the product and services in the market. For example, recent case of Maggi noodles manufactured by the Nestle Incorporation, in which a lab in the district of Gorakhpur, UP, tested for monosodium glutamate, that is MSG, in the Maggi samples. In addition, Kolkata lab found very high quantities of the lead, which was 17.2 parts per million. The manner in which the management of Nestle Incorporation responded to the above said crisis depends a lot on the disturbance handling abilities of the respective manager in the organizational structure. In the negotiator role, sometimes managers have to do negotiation and brainstorming and bargaining with the stakeholders. For example, salary negotiation with the new recruits or renewal of the labor contract or negotiation on the salary hikes and bonuses, etc. As a resource allocator in an organization, he plays a vital role in allocating the various resources vis-a-vis financial, material, human, technical, etc. to specific persons in definite predetermined proportions. Let us summarize the concept of leadership, what we have studied in this module. Leadership is the art of influencing others to accomplish the common organizational goals. Leadership is defined by the different authors in the different ways. Leader influence the followers and followers influence the leaders. This is why influencing is two-way process. Key elements of leadership are followers, influencing processes, change, people and organizational objectives. The purpose of the leadership is not to create more followers, but to create more leaders. Leadership is characterized by the sense of vision, decision making, effective utilization of resources, strong characters of leaders, empowering of followers, instilling of positive hope among the followers, etc. All leaders may or may not be managers, and similarly, all managers may or may not be leaders. But leading is an important function of management. Therefore, all managers should possess or otherwise learn and develop these leadership skills and imbibe leadership traits. Leaders as managers play different roles in the organization which help them to accomplish the organizational objectives efficiently and effectively. That is all. Thank you.